Okay, YouTube Automator, so if you're watching this video, it's not the best case scenario. In fact, it's the worst case scenario. The dark side of YouTube got you, whether it be you got a copyright strike or you got your channel demonetized, you got your channel completely shut down. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to hop on here with Devin, and I wanted to say, Devin, what should you do if the worst case scenario happens?
Yeah. So the first things first, on whatever scenario it may be, is I think you should educate yourself as much as possible on the scenario. Because it really depends on the context of the scenario. There's a lot of different things that can happen to a YouTube channel. And I'm not going to go into vast details inside of here. It's all on the community guidelines and copyright strike rules and agreements with YouTube that you have to check off before you even set up your account and everything. It's like all that information's out there. But you need to figure out what is the reason for your copyright strike or your demonetization claim, or your worst case scenario, and I've had it happen before, a channel get terminated. So what you want to do is anything that happens on YouTube, any sort of knock on your channel, any sort of strike, demonetization, they have to give you some sort of reason for it. If YouTube doesn't give you a reason for the demonetization or the copyright or whatever, then technically you can take it to court and you're going to win because they didn't give you a reason. If they don't give you a reason, I've had a lot of friends win cases because YouTube didn't give them a reason. So that's probably not going to happen to you. But so although what I'm saying is YouTube's going to give you a reason and you need to figure out what that reasoning is and if it is actually applicable to your channel and if you can change that scenario. So one of the ones that I've been getting a lot lately is easily mass-produced content. And this is for channels where I'm kind of turning them into a content farm and we're doing 4 uploads a day. When you start to get to those level of uploads, you just have to for those ones, YouTube will think that hey, you're just really farming the gaming the system. But if you can show them what the actual process is of making the videos, a lot of times they'll rest your case and make everything okay. And you just really just have to give them evidence as to what the reasoning may be. So for a scenario like that one, what I would do is I would just record the process of me making a video for them, show them every step of the process. And I would just really try to add a bunch of details into there that are unnecessary, but I do per video. So then it makes it really seem like each video takes 10 hours to make or something like that or longer. Even if that really is the case, really show what that case is. And just give them the evidence that they are looking for. But at the end of the day, YouTube has the final decision or the final say, unless you take them to court or something like that, which that costs thousands of dollars to do, which for most channels isn't really worth it. So what you want to do is just try to figure out how to submit evidence to really rebuttal the case that they put against you. But like I said, as much as possible, don't go against community guidelines. Don't do anything against the copyright laws or anything like that, and you're gonna be a-okay. As long as you're not gaming the system or anything like that, you're really not gonna run into issues. And as long as you're running a legitimate business, you're not really gonna have any issues with any of this stuff. But I know you're watching this video probably because you had something go wrong. So this is the actionable steps that I give for you. First of all, figure out what the problem is. And then second of all, reach out to YouTube. I recommend that you send them, first of all, they have sometimes it works. They have a live chat inside of the YouTube studio. It's in the bottom left corner. It'll say reach out or send feedback or something like that. Or there's I think it says help. There's a little button in the bottom left corner. Click it. If it lets you message YouTube, which most people, it won't let you message YouTube because they only give it to big boy channels basically. So try to message them. You send them an email. If they won't let you email them, then reach out to them on Twitter or Instagram. You can just send them a message or tweet at them on Twitter. They're very responsive on those platforms, and then they're gonna message you in the DMs to try to figure out your solution and everything. Like I said, it's a matter of figuring out what the problem is and then giving them evidence against the case. But like I said, most of the times they have the end all be all say on things. So just really make sure that you're not going against the copyright claims and the community guidelines or anything like that, and you're going to be okay. But if you do go against it, and you know that you're going against the laws of YouTube, you kind of deserve to get this bite on your butt. You deserve the problem that you have. Just start a new channel and do something new, or delete all the content and start clean and start uploading good content on YouTube, because most cases like demonetization or anything like that, you usually get like a 30-day wait period, and then you can reapply. And what they usually want you to do is just like redo the content and try something different, so that way you can pass the monetization test again and join YPP again, or whatever the circumstances may be. Whether like if they're reinstating a channel, if you got suspended or terminated or anything like that. You just have to make sure that you are in light of this, like you're actively trying to fix the situation and making sure that everything's right between you and YouTube. And that's really all that you can do in a scenario like this. Most cases for me, what I would do is just like, I would put time into it, but since I have so many channels I run these days, a lot of times it's worth it more to just put more time and effort into one of my other channels and just completely give up on a channel, rather than trying to completely try to figure out how to get it remonetized or unsuspended or something like that. Now, obviously, if a channel is making like $100,000 a month versus a channel making $5,000 a month, it needs a little bit more attention on the matter of the issue than something like $1,000 a month. But that is my process on whatever scenario you guys are in. It's going to be okay. We're going to be able to get it figured out one way, shape, or form. Even if it's starting from scratch, we're going to be able to. It's going to be okay. We're going to be able to move forward and get you guys some sort of results inside of this course and be able to help you guys blow this all up. Even in the worst case scenario. That's one of the reasons
that you're so able just to be like, I just move on. Because I asked this before, and I was like, all right, like while we're creating this, make sure this is the best possible. What would you do? Like, say your channel got shut down, got demonetized, whatever it might be, and you're like, I just move on. And the reason why is because for you, the channel isn't the asset. What you know about creating these channels is the asset. And like, that's one thing I've always said is like, financial freedom isn't how much money's in your bank account. It's the fact you know how to make money. It's like, it's the knowledge in your head, not the money in your bank. It's the same thing, like your asset with YouTube isn't the channel that you have. It's your ability to go viral and what you know and what you learned inside of YTA. And for you, like you obviously know every part of the YTA formula. You understand how to create automated YouTube channels. You understand how to do profitable channels. So for you, all you'd have to do is just create another one and then just make it work. And so for a lot of you guys, like if this does happen, this is gonna be rare that someone has to watch this video, but if you are at that place, then number one, like if it is making $100,000 a month, I do my best to get it back for sure because it obviously was built up. But at the same time, if you got to that point, you know how to get there again, and that's the good news. And if you don't know how to get there, then you definitely should just start a new channel because you don't even know how to, like that one doesn't even matter in the first place. Like you need to get down where you know how to create them. And then at that point, even if worst case scenario, this does happen. And this is the worst case scenario on YouTube, which is awesome because by the way, like with other businesses, the worst case scenario is a lot worse than this. But since this is the worst case scenario, you guys know how to combat it with what Devin said. Next thing, even if you just have to start from scratch, you have the knowledge it takes in order to continue to win. Good stuff, Devin. Anything else you want to add in about the worst case scenario?
Yeah. So, I mean, YouTube can get a lot uglier than all of this, what I've talked about inside this video, as far as like suspending channels and stuff. But you'd have to do something very, very wrong in order for them to like really take this type of action. Like if you're really gaming the system, if you're really doing some like illegal stuff against the community guidelines, YouTube will make sure that you can't ever create a YouTube channel ever again off of your like IP address or something. Like they can ban your IP address from like using Google and stuff. So like if you go to that extreme, obviously it's like probably you deserve it. So just like understand, like with all of this, like just do the right thing. Like just ethically, morally, everything against, like just do everything legally as much as you can, do everything correct, and you're never really going to have any of these issues whatsoever. Like I said, it can get really ugly, but if it does get really ugly, maybe take a step back and ask yourself, why is this happening to you?
That was deep, bro. That's the truth too. And the good news is people in YTA, like they have the integrity, they have the ethics, they have the morality. And if they don't, then quite honestly, we don't want you in YTA in the first place. So if you are in YTA and we know your ethics, we know your integrity, we know that you're moral, you're not going to have the issues of the absolute worst case scenario. But say you are a good person and this just happens, you have this video here for you to continue to go back to over and over and over again. All right, guys, we're in your corner. And don't forget, you were just one video away.